What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. So first off, there's a little rebranding going on. My title of my channel is now the Corey Austin Theorem. I did that because I need to have my name in the title. I've had people try to look me up on YouTube before. Hey man, I can't find your channel on YouTube. It's because my name's not in it. So I decided the best way to help expand the channel, help it grow, was to give it a name that actually had my name in it. So appreciate all your support. Appreciate all the people that have subscribed so far. That's a good segue to, if you would, please do subscribe to the channel. Hit that button right there. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right. Today we are going to talk about Matthew Livelsberger, who I'm sure you've been hearing his name in the news. He is the Green Beret, very decorated Army soldier that was involved in the Cybertruck attack in front of Trump hotels recently. Okay, now a lot of what people are really looking at is what is the connection between that and then the guy who is former Army, the New Orleans attack. And people keep trying to make that connection there. And I think the connection may have way less to do with those two personally knowing one another or having planned this together, and way more to do with a common organization that they may have belonged to or may have been brainwashed. Because I've seen a lot of comments online where people are like, it was a Tesla truck, it can drive itself. Say he was shot when the thing went off. How did he detonate it? I know you can, you could set something to detonate, then shoot yourself, and then it detonates after, that's feasible. But, the fact that it was a Cybertruck, a Tesla, they have a little bit of ability to drive themselves in certain circumstances. We're going to look at that a little bit and see, is this something that this guy was a fall guy for something else, with what's known as a patsy. So we're going to look at a really quick explanation from Inside Edition.
Is there a connection? The two men who carried out the New Year's Day attacks share several striking similarities. Both are Army vets reportedly deployed to the same Army base, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, now known as Fort Liberty. Both chose to act on New Year's Day within hours of each other. Both drove electric trucks, and they rented them from the same car rental app, Turo.
There are so many things that are crisscrossing. These are coincidences that really should cause pause.
If these turned out to be simply similarities, very strange similarities to have.
But today, the FBI says they have yet to find a connection.
At this point, there is no definitive link.
The surprise attacks came after a night of joyous national celebrations welcoming in the new year. Cops have named the Vegas suspect as Matthew Livelsberger, a 37-year-old Green Beret on leave from active duty in Germany. We found this video of Livelsberger and his ex-wife Sarah, a social worker, waiting at an airport for a red-eye flight to New York in 2016.
We're on our way.
Police say Livelsberger drove 12 hours through the night from his home in Colorado Springs to Las Vegas, stopping twice to recharge the truck's battery. The interior of the Tesla Cybertruck is like no other vehicle on the road. You are surrounded by glass, and the steering wheel is rectangular shaped. The monitor here controls everything with a touch screen, and it's pretty comfortable and easy to drive. Cops say that the suspect drove around Vegas for an hour before pulling up outside the Trump International Hotel. New surveillance video released today shows the suspect arriving in Las Vegas and driving up to the hotel. He was parked for just 17 seconds before cops say he detonated the homemade bomb in the trunk. It was made from gas canisters and large fireworks. This is where the explosives were stored, in the bed of the truck. And because it's built like a tank, the explosion was contained, directing the blast upwards. Remarkably, the explosion did little damage to the glass lobby of the Trump Hotel. The Cybertruck itself was engulfed in flames, but was left pretty much intact. Tesla boss Elon Musk proudly boasted, "The evil knuckleheads picked the wrong vehicle for a terrorist attack." So why did he use a Cybertruck? The answer seems obvious.
The idea of getting the Elon Musk signature car and bringing it to the gold
Trump sign in Las Vegas, it really suggests he's trying to send a message.
President-elect Trump is reacting to the targeting of his Vegas hotel today.
Okay, right. So I'm not going to sit and repeat what all of these similarities are. Obviously, there's quite a few. One of the most notable to me is the fact that they were both stationed in what is now Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg. That's interesting to me because that's here in North Carolina where I live. That's an hour and a half down the road from where I live. Now, there's no evidence that they knew each other or communicated or had any sort of relationship with one another while they were there. And they do know they were not in the same unit, but still, they were both there. That is very interesting, for sure. But I've seen people online saying that, what's the possibility that this guy is a patsy or a fall guy for someone else? What's the possibility of him being shot by someone else and then the car being programmed to self-drive to the Trump Towers? I know it sounds crazy, but this is 2024 and we're talking about Teslas here. So it's not too far out there, right? Well, I looked into that a little bit, and the Cybertruck does have full self-driving features, but it looks like at this point that wouldn't be very likely that that took place. Now, I can understand if maybe this was a vehicle that somebody owned and then they had, the vehicle looked at and upgraded, and some engineer took it and made this like a special version of the Cybertruck, because they do know that as of right now, a Cybertruck is not able to be remote controlled from somewhere else, right? You can't handle it like a remote control car and someone else at a different location sit and, steer the vehicle. You can't do all that. It does have full self-driving, but it looks like the options for that are very limited, and it looks like it's one of those situations where it wouldn't be very smart for a driver to use the full self-driving feature, and I'm going to read a little bit about that. The full self-driving option for the Tesla Cybertruck costs $8,000. However, Tesla has also introduced a subscription service that full self-driving that costs $99 per month. The FSD option adds features like automatic parking, trailer docking, and Tesla's full service driving abilities. The full service driving package is currently classified as a level 2 autonomous, which means it can temporarily handle acceleration, braking, and steering support. However, some say that the system often requires human intervention due to traffic issues. The Cybertruck also has other notable features, including 600 horsepower, dual motor, 18.5-inch touchscreen, panoramic roof, digital rearview mirror, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so based on anything that I've read so far, it doesn't seem very feasible that someone did this guy in and then, punched in the address of the Trump hotel and said, okay, now, drive this dead guy in the vehicle to the Trump Towers and then can set the bomb to be detonated there. Obviously, whatever detonation and stuff was set to take place, that could have been controlled from somewhere else for sure. But as far as the truck itself driving, it doesn't seem to be so. But let's look at what was this guy's mind state during this. Because you hear that he is a Green Beret special operations officer, right? I mean, this guy has reached levels of the military that many will never reach. And this guy has been on the front lines in Afghanistan doing his part to protect the country. So it seems very strange in a lot of ways for him to have done a 180 completely to now be, making a statement of disdain for the country and what he's doing, because obviously Tesla truck, Elon Musk and Trump, Elon Musk is one of Trump's biggest financial supporters at this point, working very closely with Donald Trump, the president-elect. And then for the truck to drive up in front of Trump hotels, it all obviously was meant to send some sort of message. I want to read this article real quick here where it talks about him contacting, by him I mean Matthew Livelsberger, contacting his ex-girlfriend during the few days after renting this truck and driving to the location of the Trump hotels. So I find this very interesting when I look at this, because this kind of gives you a glimpse into what his mindset was like. And it just doesn't seem like a guy who was about to do what he ended up doing. The Tesla Cybertruck Matthew Livelsberger blew up outside Donald Trump's hotel made him feel like Batman, reveals a text sent shortly before his death, according to local media. Livelsberger, 37, messaged ex-girlfriend Alicia Arit, I guess that's how you say her name, about the vehicle before he fatally shot himself inside the Cybertruck, which erupted in flames outside Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas on New Year's Day. Newsweek has reached out to Alicia Arit via Facebook and the FBI via email for comment. Why it matters. Investigators are currently trying to establish Livelsberger's motive and whether he could have been politically motivated. The text messages reveal some insight into his thinking days before his death. Livelsberger's ex-girlfriend, Arit, shared screenshots of a text message conversation they had on Sunday morning, 3 days before his death. "I rented a Tesla Cybertruck. It's the shit," read a text to Arit obtained by the Denver Gazette. "I feel like Batman or Halo," he added. 7 minutes later, referring to the science fiction video game franchise. Livelsberger also bragged to his ex about building drones in his new role. "You would love it," he added. Arit told the Denver Gazette Livelsberger was like a kid with a new toy in a series of texts before the blast. However, she said she found it strange that Livelsberger had reached out to her, given that they split up in 2021. So it's been 3 years, right, since these two broke up. And obviously it's not one of those things where they keep in touch regularly. And now all of a sudden he's texting you, "Oh, I rented this Cybertruck and I'm going here and blah, 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 blah." You know, obviously he didn't mention what was about to happen, but that definitely is strange, and it gets stranger. FBI agents tracked Arit down after reading the text messages between the pair and informed her that he had also reached out to other ex-girlfriends in the days before his death. You know, that to me, because I'm thinking about, just like my sign back here, you know, I'm thinking about the human psyche and human perspective and how people think, you know. And if you knew that you were about to do something like what he ended up doing and that your days were numbered, there definitely seems like there would be a want and a need there to reach out to and make contact with loved ones. You know, they say when people are, you know, in a situation where they feel like they may die, the first thing they're inclined to do is talk to their spouse or talk to their children or make contact with, you know, loved ones, right? And in his case, seems like the loved ones were, you know, multiple ex-girlfriends. So that was interesting. Okay, now as we talk about Matthew Livelsberger's possible motivation, let us watch the recruitment video for this whole war, you know, psychological warfare, because some of you, this is one of those things that it's layered and it can get kind of convoluted and confusing when you listen to it, like, what are we really talking about here? But we're going to watch this video, and then after it, I have a couple of sentences that are going to explain and then wrap into a little bow what this upcoming video is really about and how it could have related to the attack with the Cybertruck in front of the Trump hotels. Okay? All right, so take a listen to this.
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering, do do or die around me. You say your last good night while I get
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
The ammunition used by cyber.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
gripping at my skin, the walls of night closing.
But the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form.
As I wait to say my last goodbye.
Now, looking at that video, I just had all kinds of just thoughts flooding over me. I'd be interested to hear what came over you when you watched that. I'd be interested to know. But just in case some of you were a little bit like me and you look at it and you're like, oh, oh okay, what? Because that's kind of how I was at first. Once I started reading some of the comments under the video, I started to get more clarity on actually what I was looking at here. So check out this one. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. And that was Edward Bernays. Propaganda. Okay. Next one says the emotional manipulation. You are the target. Who are they looking to deceive, persuade, change, influence, or inspire? It's right in front of you. The enemy is you. PSYOP is a multi-stage process that uses non-coercive techniques to influence the actions and attitudes of a target group. The goal is to induce or reinforce behavior that is favorable to the objectives of the country conducting the PSYOP. So, is this Matthew Livelsberger looking at this as the country turning on its own soldiers, as their own soldiers being the target group, and the goal being to reinforce some sort of behavior that is favorable to the government itself, while brainwashing and ruining the psyche and the morale of our soldiers? I mean, how many soldiers do we know that come home from war and they're just never the same, right? And I understand war itself has an impact on that psyche and the PTSD and all of those things, but how much of that is the psychological warfare and this video, stuff like this, that is shoved down the throats of our military? Makes you wonder why Matthew Livelsberger did that complete 180 when he looks like an individual that should be protecting the country. What caused all this? Where did this come from? Thanks so much for watching. If you would subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about all this. I will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Peace.